How are we doing, Kansas Jayhawks fans? This is your host, Nick Rondeau, bringing at you some Jayhawks Daily content, and we have finally made it. Tonight is tip-off of the 2025-26 Kansas Jayhawks basketball season, and I am pumped. We've been through it all. We had an 8-day stretch where we got 3 to 4 recruits. We had 2 exhibition games. We had late night in the fog. We had all of the anticipation leading to this moment of tipping off against Doug Gottlieb's Green Bay. I honestly don't even know what they are, but all I do know is they had a disastrous first season for Doug Gottlieb last year. 2-18 in the conference, I believe. They had 4 total wins. They ranked in the bottom 10 of defensive efficiency, letting over 80 points a game. They were in the bottom 100 in offensive efficiency. They had nothing going for them last year. They were a tough watch for every single one of the people out there, their fans. And Doug Gottlieb thought he could go straight from the radio booth, straight to leading a winning team. No, it didn't work out so well. No, it didn't. And you're in year 2 now, Doug, and you're still, you're doing your radio, you're doing it all. Maybe focus a little more on the coaching, but hey, I don't want to talk too much trash because we got a game tonight. This is a matchup of some heavyweights. No, but I'm not going to disrespect. They've got a good team. They retained 2 starters from last year. Unfortunately, they lost their best player. He averaged over 25 points a game last year, but they're returning a couple of pretty good guys. Got a couple of transfers, and then I'm assuming at some point we'll see. I think they had 6 freshmen come in, so Doug's got his guys now. He's officially got his peeps, and we'll see what they put up. But a couple of the starters I do know tonight will probably, because they're the 2 that retained, would be Preston Rudinger. He's a 6'2" guard. He seemed like kind of a do-it-all guy. Like 8 points a game, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, kind of doing it all for the team. But he played, I think, the most minutes on that team last year, so he'll probably be doing the same. One thing I did notice is they don't look particularly tall. They do have 1 7-footer, but only 3 guys, I think, including that 7-footer, are over 6'8" or 6'9". So not a particularly tall team. So that will kind of lead us into that starting 5 we'll talk about next. But they got Marcus Hall as another returning starter, 6'6". He was their second leading scorer last year, I believe, with 14 points. He seems to be a little bit more of a shooter for them. They got a couple of transfers that are pretty good. A guy named Josh Hines. He averaged 20 points in Division II last year, scored in double figures almost every game last year, I believe. And then an incredible scorer in Justin Allen. I'm interested to see Justin Allen tonight. We're going to have to watch out, Jayhawks fans. We're hoping Darren Peterson locks him up, but he was by far their best transfer. He's a 6'4" guard. He came from Carnegie Mellon last year. He had a game where he put up 50. So he's got potential, but I think he scored in double digits every single game last year, and he scored more than 20 in 17 of 30 games. So a lot of potential for pouring it on by Justin Allen, and I think he'll probably be taking over the role of their leading scorer last year. Probably will be assuming that role this year, is my guess. But yeah, they seem like they're going to be a plug and play team. People keep going in, keep throwing it at us. Like I said, not particularly tall, so I think that leads us to a nice matchup play. Whether it's we put in the bigs and we kind of just dominate down there, or we run and gun with them and try to outrun and gun them. I think we played either way. But I do think, like we said, so Kansas is hosting Green Bay. We're at Allen Fieldhouse tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time, so that's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Just exciting that Darren Peterson will finally get to play in front of the home crowd in his first game, as he didn't play in the exhibition game at Allen Fieldhouse. He played in the Louisville one at Louisville. So DP is getting his first action tonight in front of the crowd. It's going to be loud, no matter if it's Green Bay, no matter if it's UConn or Houston, whoever's in there, it's going to be a loud game. So very excited DP is going to get that environment and atmosphere. And I think Bill sticks with the original starting 5. And by the original starting 5, I mean Darren Peterson, Melvin Council, Cole Rosario, Trey White, Flory Badunga. I think he keeps it simple. I think you really want to have Cole Rosario play a great game tonight. I think you need him to get his shooting form going because you got UNC. You're going to Chapel Hill on Friday. It's not going to be an easy test. Caleb Wilson has dominated already in a couple exhibition games, and I think what we're going to have to see is try out that big lineup. Try the Bryson Flory lineup. See how it works with Trey White at the 3 or whomever at the 3. We're going to have to see how the lineup works because that's what we're going to have to play. Trey White matched up against Caleb Wilson would be a colossal mismatch, and I don't think it would go well for us at all. So I think we've got to try out that lineup, see how it does again, but I think he just sticks with it. Considering we're looking at the matchups, I think maybe they're going to be starting a 6-8 plus 4, but I don't know. I don't know enough about this team, to be honest. But I do know that we need to have our guys in rhythm for that game come Friday. So Cole Rosario, I like you back in the starting lineup. I like what I was seeing. He's hustling, he's poking for balls. He's deflecting, he's running in transition. He's doing everything right. The only thing we didn't see is any consistency on the offensive end. And to be honest, if he goes another game of not taking one dribble inside the three-point line, I don't know how Bill doesn't throw him in the doghouse. Jaden Dawson's in the doghouse for, do you know the reason? Because I don't know the reason. He doesn't tell anybody when he throws somebody in the doghouse, and Jaden Dawson is clearly there right now. And I mean, I have not seen Cole Rosario take one dribble within the three-point line. They're 2 exhibition games. I'm going to keep it simple, but we got to see something. You have to establish that you can drive and score, which we know you can. You're a very athletic player to then establish the three-point ball. So I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit of that tonight. I think he should have his way in his position. But again, who knows? But I think we're going back to, yes, Melvin, Darren Peterson, Cole Rosario, Trey White, and Flory Badunga. I see Flory having a big day. I see Darren Peterson having a big day. But again, I think it's going to be a contribution on all fronts. This is a big game. Everyone's been really, pumped. This is a first game in front of Allen Fieldhouse. We're going to be going away on Friday, so we got to keep that energy with us. And who are we going to count on? It's DP, obviously. I think he'll put up 20 in 20 minutes. Honestly, I don't think there's a reason to play him too much. And obviously, if the game's close and, we're really fighting for points or something like that, yeah, he can stay in there. I would have further concerns about this team down the line, but I really did we not see how he scored against Louisville? They were in bunches. This guy was putting on runs by himself. He played, the entire first half, he had 24 points. If he has a first half kind of like that, plays defense the way he did, I don't really need to see him in the crunch time because we'll already be up by so many points. So Darren Peterson, I'm hoping we're not overusing him. We got big games ahead. We got conference play way down the line that we got to worry about. But yes, we got to worry about winning some games. So obviously I'm not saying 20 minutes in the UNC game to keep him fresh. Put him 30, 35. We want to win games, but I think the guys can handle Green Bay without him. I'm hoping he puts up a pretty performance, but I think we're going to see some big threes from him. Couple of great dribble drives, maybe one big jam. I'm thinking he's going to slam one real hard home, maybe in a transition, really get the place rocking tonight. But I see it going to be as a contribution all around type performance. I think Melvin probably gets 10. I think Trey White gets 12. Darren gets maybe 20. I'd like to see 20. Flory 10. I think it's going to be 10 from everywhere. I'm hoping we have 5 to 6 players in doubled figures. I think that would be a perfect game for me, seeing this team really gel together, really work for each other, and also show that we can score from anywhere. That's what I want to see. I would love if Cole Rosario starts hot and hits his first 2 or 3 threes, gets 10 quick points, and then he can fall off, and then he can go to Trey White, picks it up from there. That's the thing about this team, and we've been talking about it for the past month and a half, and we've all seen it with our eyes. This team is deep. Everyone's saying it. Bill's saying it. Trey White's saying it. This is a deep team that has talent all around. Jamari McDowell is going to get in there today. I know that, and he's going to play well. he's going to play well. He's going to distribute. He's going to get a couple of assists, and he'll get probably 6 points. These are things that I have a lot of confidence in. A lot of confidence that these guys are built for a game like Green Bay to come in and play their role, because Bill knows exactly how to get these guys, and it's know your role and continue to play on. So I'm excited. We'll see how the guys play. We'll hop into my prediction, as you can see it down there. I think we win 86-51. We go to 1-0. I think the spread's around 30.5 is what Vegas has got us around that. So I've got us covering probably, but I would just speak in terms of, this game's going to be probably a lot of missed shots from Green Bay, probably some, a lot of easy transition buckets. And who knows, I could be completely wrong, and this could be a barn burner where both of us are scoring and it's 80-76. I'd be heavily surprised and terrified for this season coming up, but we should be able to handle our business at home for Green Bay. We should be able to handle them by, at least 20 points. If we don't, a podcast tomorrow will be a lot more depressed and sad, and I will have almost no hope for UNC. But hey, I don't see that happening. I see us handling our business. Darren Peterson having a big day. Flory having a big day. Bryson off the bench having a big day. Cole Rosario, all of them. So I'm excited. We're going to see what we've got tonight. We got to tune in. We have got Kansas Jayhawks basketball, regular season basketball. How many games until March? Let's count them down. I'm going to savor and enjoy every single one of them. So I'm hoping everyone's tuning in. ESPN Plus, if you can't go there in person, we got to tune in. We'll break it down tomorrow. We'll do some previews later in the week about that UNC game. We'll do a couple of episodes. We'll break down how the players' performance is going. We're rolling. We're rocking. We're doing our best, and I appreciate everyone for joining me on this journey for the Kansas Jayhawks podcast on Jayhawks Daily. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Please like, comment, subscribe. Maybe put some score predictions down in the chat. Maybe, a couple of comments or things you want me to touch on, things I may have gotten wrong that you think you got right. I'm all ears. This content's for you people, and I very much appreciate everyone for tuning in. So thank you very much, and let's go win tonight. Let's beat Doug Gottlieb in Green Bay. Rock chalk. Go Jayhawks.